Hi everyone. Today I would like you to start with this warm-up. Make sure that you are using your tracker to complete it, and if you can't see it or if this isn't big enough, you can always look at the link in Canvas. Pause here, try it yourself, and then we'll come back to go over the answers in 1 minute. Okay, so for question 1, explain why it was important to have a control group. You always want to have a control group so that you can have a baseline of comparing the data. And in this case, it shows how many deaths we would have with no treatment. Make sure that you, in this case, I use the word deaths, that is the context. And then here we have control group baseline to compare. That is kind of like the definition of control group. And then you want to have context in every answer. So I had to mention something. I could have said cows, I could have said rears, anything like that. And then remember for question 2, we've talked about this a couple of times. Randomly assigning or describing how to randomly assign needs to be so specific, that someone else can follow and not make any decisions. So notice here, I'm saying, make sure you say unique numbers. And then I also make sure to say that the first group goes to the eyes on the rear, the second group goes to the cross marks, and the third groups get no marks. So you have to be very specific. Don't just say make 3 groups, say which group is doing what thing. All right. So for today's lesson, what you want to do is look in Canvas. There should be a PDF linked with conclusions. So we have this idea of, does music help GPA? So we want to see, does listening to music while you study make your grades better? And so we did 6 different types of studies, and there are 6 different conclusions linked on Canvas. And so what we want to do is look at those 6 and try to decide which one you think goes where. I would just write the letter down first, A, B, C, D, E, or F, and then once you see the right answers, you can fill in the rest so that you can have it all written down. So pause here, open that document, and write the letters you think go with each of these 6 conclusions. When you're finished, you can unpause and come back to get the answers and some information that you'll write in your different colored pen. Okay, so the answers were D, B, F, A, C, E. And I'll show you how we know which one goes with which. For the whole entire thing, we're going to be wondering, was this a random sample? And did we have random assignment? So let me do that in a different color. All right, so first we'll look at random samples for each one. In number 1, it says, get all the students in your statistics class to participate in a study. That is not a random sample. And so when we write our conclusion, we can only say for the students in the study. We can't apply it to everybody. For the random assignment part, it says, ask them whether or not, let's do another underline, ask them whether or not. That's also not randomly assigning. When you don't randomly assign, then that's when there's an association, not causation. Number 2, it says select a random sample this time. So we would be able to say yes. And when we have a random sample, then we can apply our results for the seniors in the school. Random sample of seniors for the seniors in the school. So that one was a random sample. But then we have asked them whether or not, and so that's again no, where we only have an association. For number 3, we select a random sample of students from my school, random sample of students, and so I can apply my results to all the students in the school, and then that's another yes, but it says ask them not randomly assign. And so ask them whether or not means I can only say there's an association. All right, number 4, we're back to not a random sample. Get all the students in your statistics class. No, not a random sample. So when I write my conclusion, it can only be for the students in the study. But I do have randomly assign. And so now that I've done random assignment, that's where we get the cause. So when we randomly assign in an experiment, we can establish causation. For the next one, we have the random sample of seniors, so I can apply my results to the seniors. And I did randomly assign, so I can say causes. And last but not least, we have the random sample, this time of students. So it's for all the students in my school. And we also randomly assigned, so I can say causes. Remember, if you don't do a random assignment, then correlation does not equal causation. We just have an association. And when we do have random assignment, that's when we can say causes. So to summarize all of that, I have this right here. The whole idea is what conclusions can we make? And so that has a name. It's called Inference. And it's how to apply the results from a study to the population, or think about the conclusions that you can make. If you have a random sample, then you can generalize the results to that population that the sample came from. So when we sampled seniors, we could do seniors. When we did the whole school, we could do the whole school. When you use random assignment, then you can make cause and effect conclusions. I'm going to add one thing to this little box that I think is missing, and it's statistically significant, that definition. So we're going to all write it down right here. Okay, so that is when the results from a study, any kind of study, are too unusual to have occurred purely by chance. And we'll explore that more in units 4 and 5. But I think it fits here. And you'll see it again. So, in this case, if that is statistically significant, then you can only apply what you learned to the population if it was a random sample, and you can only establish causation if you did a random assignment. All right, so we're going to skip this page for now, and I want you guys to go ahead and try to check your understanding. Give it a pause, and we'll come back to it in a minute. Try the first one. I'll go over that one, and then we'll pause and do the second. All right, so in this case, they did not randomly select the athletes. We recruited 95 athletes seeking care, so that's no random selection. And then it says that athletes who were removed recovered more quickly, but it didn't say that they randomly assigned them. And so with no random assignment and no random selection, we can't establish cause and effect or generalize the results. And so we just have an association for the athletes in the study. We can't do an experiment on this because it's unethical to randomly assign someone to keep playing after they have a head injury. So the best they can do is observational study. All right, number 2, give it a read, pause the video, and come back when you're ready. All right, this was not causing. No, because they were not randomly assigned. or signed at all. And would it be ethical to conduct an experiment? Well, technically, it's the babies that are receiving the treatment, and they are unable to give informed consent, which is part of being in a study. And so, technically, no. That's why most clinical trials never include pregnant women. All right. So, you guys are all done with this unit now. You need to make sure you study. There's a lot of vocab and a lot of different types of studies to memorize, types of sampling methods. So make sure you study and do all of your homeworks. Have a great day.